My name is Hilda Carr. I'm a potter. I live in South London and I work from a pottery studio in the bottom of my garden. I make functional ware, use a stoneware clay, mugs, bowls, plates, things that are designed to be used every day. We built this studio around 3 years ago, shortly after we moved to the house.
Oh, hi.
I previously had a studio in the last house that was about half the size, and I'd run out of space there really, so we had the opportunity here of a bigger garden to be able to create a bigger space, and this works really well. And my husband built the studio. It's on his weekends and in his evenings. I say I helped, but mainly pointing and holding the bottom of the ladder was my main job. So the studio is around 7 metres by 4. It is entirely timber frame with a zinc roof. It's east facing, which means it gets the early morning light. Particularly in the winter, the light levels can be quite low, just where it's positioned in the garden. We've got a lot of trees around. Lots of windows definitely help. I open the doors in summer. So the studio is really well insulated. It's not attached to the house, so particularly in the winter, it gets really cold overnight. I've got a couple of oil-filled radiators, so I normally nip down and get those on early. It doesn't need a lot of energy to get it warm, but the walls, the ceiling and the floor are all really well insulated.
So I've noticed it's not very echoey in here, Hilda. Why do you think that is?
I think it's something to do with the floor. It's a solid floor, self-leveling compound. It's good in lots of ways. It's also easy to clean. There's no drain down here at all. I don't even have a sink trap. I use it all with builder's buckets. I have several that I can swap out when the water's getting a bit dirty. I can just put that to one side, pop a new bucket in, wait for the clay and debris to settle in the old bucket, tip the water off and get rid of the waste. So I find that's the easiest way to do it. So these are my thinking shelves. Things that I've made I'm not quite sure of yet. I just pop them up here just to mull over for a while to see where I'm going to take them next. The benefits of having a studio at the bottom of my garden are, the obvious one is the cost. Another one is that, many a time I've been down in my pyjamas checking on pots, wrapping things in plastic, unwrapping things, checking on the kiln. To have that convenience to have at the bottom of the garden is great. I can't imagine having to be able to travel anywhere. Pots are on my mind basically all of the time. So it would be strange to not have it sort of within my home. It does have its downsides, of course. I don't have a lot of boundaries between my home life and my work life. They're all sort of in a big jumble all together, which sometimes I appreciate is not ideal, but certainly the benefits outweigh the cons. An average day for me is to drop the kids off at school, walk the dog, probably clean up the kitchen and put a load of washing on, the usual things, then down to the studio. And my days can be really varied. I'm lucky that a lot of my time is spent making. Inevitably, when you run a business, there's the admin that's involved with that, but it does take up a relatively small amount of time. My happiest days are certainly when I'm throwing, trimming, carving in the studio. Glazing not so much, but we will have our favourite bits.
Ooh, I like your little doohickey.
Yes, and then for putting the marks on the bottom, I've got this taller one to get inside stem vases, and then a fatter one for big mugs.
Brilliant. So tell me about your plaster board there. What's that for?
So I just use that for wedging. It's actually a sample from our old kitchen worktop. We made a concrete kitchen island, and that was a sample that we did to test it out, and it makes the perfect wedging surface. So my kiln is through here. Separate little shed.
Fabulous. How big is your kiln, Hilda?
I've got no idea to answer questions like that.
Sorry, should have watched you.
What, the literage? No
Yeah.
idea. So I got this for free, I'm going to say.
Wow.
I was down at my clay supplier as the owner of the shop was on the phone to a customer who was saying how she's about to move, she's got a kiln, she doesn't know what to do with it. If you can get someone here and they can get rid of it, they can have it for free. So within about 20 seconds, I was on the phone to a nan and van and got that for free. So.
Amazing. Well, it's a bit of a beast, isn't it? So this is just what's this, like a shipping container type thing?
It's like a metal storage shed.
Yeah.
It came flat pack, really easy to put up. We laid a small concrete base and then just popped it on the top.
Amazing. Perfect, because it's metal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, great.
So my first wheel, my favourite wheel, and the wheel I use for my own work is an old Venco wheel that I got off eBay for £400 about 12 years ago. That was my first foray into ceramics. So I still use that, even though it's a bit of an elderly creature. Because I teach a lot, I then have 3 shimpos, and then I have a cowley. But yeah, the cowley, people describe as a workhorse. I heard someone say they're going to have to peel this out of my cold dead hands before I get rid of this wheel. But I love it because it's got a really big tray. So I use my Venco for throwing and I use a cowley for trimming. And it's really easy to peel out all the trimmings because it's basically got, sitting in like a baby bath.
Are these your reclaim bats, Hilda?
Yeah. So these ones I made, and then I just bought these little platforms on casters just to save my back. Anything that you can put on wheels when you're dealing with heavy things day
Yeah.
after day is always a winner.
Brilliant. So you can roll those out and in to put your clay on, and then you can roll them away again.
Just put them out with the foot and shove them back in.
Brilliant.
So I made these because I was fed up with plates warping. And this is what I now do. Leave it for a day or two covered in plastic and then pop a sandbag on the top and let it dry nice and slowly. Just literally made these. I'm terrible on the sewing machine, as you can tell, but just scraps of fabric, which are filled with a bit of builder's sand.
Wow.
I've seen people use rice or other things like that before, but these work really well.
And that stops your plates from warping?
Yeah. Just keeps a good even pressure right across the top.
Amazing. Love that.
There's never enough shelves. If I was going to do something differently with this studio, in fact, that's the plan, to add more shelving. As many shelves as I put in, I just fill them up. I've had a bit more space. I love the idea of having maybe a separate glazing area, so I can sort of keep things out and have more sort of dedicated zones for things, and a packing area. All my packing material is in the house, so I've got to carry it in for that, which is fine. But yes, that would be nice to have everything all going on in one space.
Tell me about what you've been working on at the moment.
So I've been experimenting with some different textures, trying to get a little bit more depth into the work. So this, I made up a crank slip, so really heavily grogged clay. I made that up into a slip. I've painted that on to the surface of my regular buff stoneware and then carved through it, so you get that lovely contrast between the two textures. The main thing that interests me with handmade ceramics is items that make a home feel more homely. So it's all about creating beautiful pieces that you can use. To use being the important thing, not to be sat on the shelf and admired, to be loved, to be chosen every morning for your coffee. I absolutely love it when people come to me and say, "Oh, I use your mug every day for my morning cup of tea. It's my favourite mug." That means the world to me. And to create items that are comforting to use. I love creating pieces that have got a lot of texture. And in fact, when I first started pottery, my earliest pieces are carved. It was instantly the thing I wanted to do, and I don't really know why particularly, but I was instantly drawn to that. And actually, I love the doing as much as I love the look of it. the actual meditative quality, similar to throwing on the wheel, quite sort of slowly, calmly carving a piece is just as appealing to me as the look I get at the end of it. So those two things just go in hand for me. So here's your latest book, Cara.
Hey.
One of my favourites. Got all my glaze recipes and things in there.
Wow, oh, I'm so glad you're using it.
love
That's
it.
so nice.
So you can find me online at hildacarpottery.com. You can find me on Instagram at Hilda Carr Pottery. I share information about what I'm working on at the moment. Lots of tips, lots of videos. They coincide with my book, Carve Your Clay, which was published a few years ago, which is full of carving projects to try. I also run, and this is a fairly new thing, it's called the Mug Collective, which is a mug subscription. You sign up for the year, and then I send you a surprise mug through the post every few months. Thanks so much for coming to my studio.
Subscribe to my channel and join me for the next instalment of Shed Light, where I will be visiting another potter somewhere in the UK to talk to them about their working space and how that shapes them as a person and as a potter.